everyone! Have you ever wondered what your future could hold after high school? Most students have, and if you're among the few that haven't even given it a second thought, you might want to jump on the bandwagon before it's too late. Thinking about the prospect of college, and expensive college at that, you might be asking yourself this: how am I ever going to afford the college of my dreams? The answer is quite simple, and it can save you a lot of money. What you really need to start thinking about is student aid. I'm sure most people are aware of what student aid is, but now you need to start thinking about your own financial situation and determine how you can make student aid work for you. The foremost important step to applying for student aid involves filling out a special type of form known as the FAFSA. In this video, I will be discussing the purpose of the FAFSA form, how to actually fill one out, plus some additional tips and tricks that will help you on your journey to success. So, let's get started. FAFSA, also known as the Free Application for Federal Student Aid, is an electronic form submitted online annually by students that determines how eligible someone is for financial aid. This financial aid can go towards paying for college, trade school, and graduate programs. The federal government, states, colleges, and universities are able to determine your eligibility for student aid based on the information you provide in your FAFSA application form. People from all different backgrounds are often eligible for some amount of student aid, often encompassing a range of grants and loans. There's no way of telling how eligible you are until you actually fill out a form, which is why it's so crucial to do so. If you're among the majority of students who need all the help they can get, paying pricey tuition, it's time to hit the web and prepare to fill out your first FAFSA form. Before you even start filling out the FAFSA form, there are 7 main things you need. Number 1, your FSA or Federal Student Aid PIN. You need this PIN in order to sign your FAFSA electronically. You can obtain one online at the official FSA website. Getting your PIN ahead of time can help prevent processing delays later on. Number 2, your Social Security number. If you don't already know it, you can find your number on your Social Security card. It may also be on your birth certificate or a permanent resident card. You can always ask your parent or guardian if you are a high school student. If you're not a U.S. citizen but meet the basic eligibility requirements of the FSA, you will need your alien registration number. Number 3, your driver's license number. Obviously, if you don't have a driver's license, this necessity doesn't apply to you. Number 4, your or your parents' tax records. If you are still in high school, this information will most likely come from your parent. Make sure you use your income records from the year prior to the academic year for which you are applying. If you or your parents haven't filed taxes yet, you can always estimate the amount using the tax return from the year before. You can always update this later. Number 5, records of your untaxed income. Again, if you're a high school student, this information is coming from a parent or guardian. These records can include a number of things, such as child support received, interest income, and veterans non-education benefits, though not everything is going to apply to your situation. Number 6, records of all your assets. This is basically just a record of everything you or your parents own money-wise. These records may include savings and checking account balances, and investments such as stocks and bonds, as well as real estate. And finally, number 7, a list of schools you are interested in going to. The schools you will list on your FAFSA form will automatically receive your results electronically. You can list up to 10 schools on your FAFSA and can go back later to add more if necessary. Make sure you list any school you're considering, even if you're not sure or haven't made an official decision yet. Another way you can think about gathering and organizing this information is to make 2 folders. One folder will contain income and expense information, and the second folder will have asset information. This is a great and simple way to stay organized and keep the bulk of the information in order, which will make filling out the form much easier. Once you have everything you need, it's time to fill out your FAFSA form. Filling out the form. So by this point you have everything you need and you're ready to fill out the form. It should take about an hour to fill out your FAFSA completely and accurately. I'm going to go through each section of the form and explain what information you will need to include for each one. Section 1, Student Demographics. So the first section of the form deals with basic information about yourself as a student. Besides the obvious name, age, social security number, etc., this is also where you will record your education level, future plans, and indicate what types of student aid you want to be considered for. This is where you can also register for the Selective Service, otherwise known as the military. Section 2, School Selections. This is where you're going to decide which colleges you would like to send your FAFSA results to. Remember, you can select up to 10 schools. You will also be asked about your plans regarding where you will live, on campus or off campus. This will help administrators determine their costs for attendance. To make sure your data is going to the right school, make sure you know the federal school codes of the colleges you are considering. Most publish their FAFSA codes online. Section 3, Dependency Determination. These questions address your dependency status. You're considered an independent if you're 24 years old by December 31st of the coming year, you are a graduate or professional student in the coming year, you are married or separated, if you are a parent or have other dependents who receive more than half their support from you, or if you're an orphan or a veteran of the U.S. Armed Forces. If you are deemed independent, then your eligibility for financial aid will be determined without consideration of your parents' income or assets. You can always ask your school if you are unsure about your dependency status. Section 4, Parent Demographics. Similar to the first section, you will need to provide basic information about your parents or guardians, including their social security number, marital status, and the number of household members. This information will affect the calculation for your expected family contribution, also called EFC, which will affect your overall eligibility for student aid. Section 5, Parent Financial Information. You will first be asked about your parents' tax filing status, so it's best if their tax return is completed before filling out the form. Next, you will answer questions about parental income and your parents' financial assets. Section 6, Student Financial Information. Now it's your turn to fill in your own tax and income information. Most high school dependents will find that many of the questions don't really apply to them, and vice versa, some independents might find that the parent information is irrelevant to their situation. Once you've thoroughly completed each section, it's time to sign and submit. By signing and dating the form, you and your parents agree to provide any information to verify the data you recorded on the form, as well as promise to use any federal student aid provided for educational purposes only. Check over your information carefully and press submit. Easy as that. What happens next? After submitting your FAFSA, you will receive something called a student aid report within 2 weeks. The SAR lists the information you included on your form and tells you how much money you will be expected to contribute to college costs. Read over your SAR carefully to make sure that there are no errors. This is your last chance to correct anything before sending your form back to the processor. It's now up to the college administrators to determine your eligibility, and all you can do now is hope for the best. Now that I've gone through what a FAFSA form is and how to fill one out, I have some additional tips and words of advice to follow. First off, fill out the form no matter what your financial situation is. Some people make the mistake of thinking that they couldn't be eligible for student aid before even trying to apply, and then they miss out on a great opportunity. So don't be that person. Second, pay attention to the time frame. You don't want to make the tragic mistake of filling out your form too late. You can maximize your opportunities if you file as early as possible after the filing date. The best financial aid awards are generally given to the earliest applicants, so be as early as possible. Third, do the hard work up front. If you organize everything you need before actually sitting down to fill out the form, everything will fall into place much more nicely in the end. Staying organized is the key to recording the most accurate information possible. My fourth word of advice is to be as accurate as possible. Avoid any mistakes to the best of your ability. Ask questions if any part of the form confuses you. It is always better to be safe than sorry later down the line. Lastly, always make any necessary adjustments to your form as needed. People often only fill out the form once and then forget to go back and update the information later. Life really is a roller coaster, and if you want to maximize your financial aid opportunities, you want the information you're presenting to be as accurate and up-to-date as possible. Thank you all so much for watching. Hopefully you learned a thing or two about FAFSA and how you can benefit from student aid. Life moves way too fast to pass up such a great opportunity to maximize your college experience. So it's time to go out and find your own financial potential.